Well, I didn't vlog today.
Well, I did say that, but I've changed my mind now. Because I came up with a great idea.
Oh god.
Okay. So, we're going to do a vlog tutorial. Basically, on...
You're lost, aren't you?
Yeah, well, so we're going to talk about how you can get better portrait photos. Now, I haven't decided if I'm going to do like 5 tips or if I'm just going to talk about it. So if in the title it says a number, then that's how many there's going to be. But Matt is going to show you how to be an amazing model, and I'm going to show you how to take some sick photos. Why are you shaking your head, Nick? Yeah.
So I'm going to be an amazing model, like.
Okay, well, I can't say that you're going to be a mediocre model because otherwise they wouldn't want to.
You just didn't say it.
The
Anyway,
truth does hurt, Matt, so...
It does.
Yeah, anyway, that is what we're doing. And I'm going to try and keep this shorter than the last one, because the last one was like mind-numbingly long. So, it was long for me to edit. I'm sure it was long for you to watch if you watched it. So this one, I'm going to try and keep less than 5 minutes.
So I'm playing a little violin for you. Me to edit.
What am I talking about? How to take good photos. What do you like most about your photos? What, for you, makes the difference between, yeah, I like that photo, and I don't really rate that photo?
Mainly a confidence thing.
Yeah.
You look more confident if photo looks better.
Yeah. So, obviously we've got a confidence video out, so you can go and watch that if that's something that you struggle with. The main point for that though is repetition, and you know, I'm not saying that you're going to watch this video and then you're going to go out and do a shoot and it's going to be amazing, but if you take some of the principles from this and then go out and take some photos after a bit of practice, you might like them a bit better. So that is the idea anyway. So we're in Rochester, we've picked this location, and we've got some nice foreground elements. So if I get you around the other side of this here, yeah, and if I get you to put your hands on it, and then yeah, you could like lean on it with one hand, you put one hand on the back, So what you can also do, you probably won't get away with it if you're using a phone, but if you're using a camera with a lens with a shallow depth of field, what you can use is stuff like this as the foreground element. I'll put the photo up now and you can see that at the top you've got this out of focus, which shapes him quite well. And especially if you're quite insecure about your posing or specific things about your body, having a bit more going on can help distract from that. And the simple fact of the matter is when you post photos online, people aren't zooming into all of your insecurities looking at them, that's just you when you take them. So it really doesn't matter that much. But if we get you back and leaning up against the tree, and you can put that one leg up, and yeah, like that. You do them like plan view. So yeah, like we said, like it's really important for you to be confident. So picking poses like that, like when you do that, you feel confident.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. So doing stuff like that really helps. The good thing about places like this with a nice path and trees over the top is it makes you look like a badass, because why are you making that face?
I don't think it does really.
I think it does, because what you get is the leading lines. So if you come and stand in the middle, and then the camera will get a bit of a sense for the leading lines. So you'll see, as I'm in the middle, you've got the trees either side, and it's quite symmetrical. So it really draws your attention to the person that stood in the middle. And if you've got, you know, like a full outfit that you like, taking a full outfit like that, just try and relax the shoulders a bit. There we go. Really shows off the outfit really well. You now get to see the behind the scenes of me shooting things. You get the sat on your
Look after your parts.
Yeah. The other thing. So the other thing, if you find that posing is a bit more difficult, picking props as such like this that you can interact with to pose helps a lot. So you can lean back, you can lean forwards, you can put your arm up on the thing, you can do whatever. There is a lot of different things that you can do with a prop like this if you feel awkward posing. So utilising stuff like that really helps. So I'm racing my camera battery as well. It's gonna die. Yeah, that's really good. It's really good for the white tail as well. Look at them and just stay like that. You just turn your face towards me. The other thing, if you're using a camera like this, is just mixing up between portrait and landscape. I see a lot of people, they only shoot one way, either landscape or portrait. And even if you just post to social media, just having the landscapes helps as well. Just because it's something different. Like, not every single photo has to be optimized for Instagram and be perfect for Instagram. If I get you leaning forward and with your arms on that, yeah. Brilliant. And then, shall we get you stood on the bench, sat on the back here? And then kind of, if I take you, and then just kind of man spread a little bit, and let your hands, let your hands like dangle in between. The other thing as well is just mixing up your, not so much your focal length, but the distances, doing some close up, doing some a bit further away. And the good thing, again, if you're not as comfortable with posing, is having that wide, so having a wide photo will draw away from specific issues. So if you don't feel comfortable posing your hands, or if you don't feel comfortable posing especially your face, taking a bit of a wider one allows more room for error because you're not seeing your face. But if you're really insecure about a specific portion of your body, so if you're like overweight and you're just like insecure about your stomach or something like that, doing a bit of a closer one, you can just cut it out and then you don't need to worry about it. Thank you. But yeah, the other good thing is, you know, if you're just taking photos for yourself for Instagram, then having like your friend come out with you to take the photos of you, they can just alter your position very slightly as well, because quite often, until you really get used to until you get used to really like taking photos of yourself, you don't really get a good appreciation for how you look to other people. So, you know, it's really good having someone else to just be like, oh, like, you know, your shoulders look a bit stiff, just relax your shoulders a bit, or
like you look like you're stood a little bit awkwardly, so just move your foot a bit, stuff like that, which you don't really think about when you're thinking about all the other things that you're worrying about. If I get you leaning back, and and that's the other thing, like trying to work out what to do while you're posing can be really hard, and a very, very good tip for not thinking about it is to get the person that you're taking a photo of, or you, to do a movement. So you can do like a step or like a look or whatever, and then you're not really thinking. You're not really thinking about what you're doing, and it looks a lot more natural. It's an awful lot more natural. If you scooch across to that side so that you're leaning right on the edge, and that's a bit wet. And then I think stay in that position, but look just over my shoulder. Yeah, and that's the other thing, just mixing up when you're looking at the camera and when you're not looking at the camera. So you get those like candids where you're like, oh, I just look this beautiful all the time type deal. It's really good as well, and it makes you feel less awkward because you forget that you're looking straight at a camera. I can't think of anything else. If you give me the camera and you go and sit on that bench, is there anything that you would like, any tips that you'd give to someone who's taking photos of themselves? Like, you know, when you go, I don't know if you still do this because you now have me to take all of your photos, but if you go out with your mates and you take photos for Instagram, is there anything that you think, oh, like now that you've done shoots, that you think, oh, you should be doing this, or can you do that?
One thing since starting the modelling that I've stopped doing less with photos of friends is like sort of focusing less on my posture. It's like I always used to like sort of broaden my shoulders and just sort of make myself look big, whereas now it's like you don't look as comfortable. Like what I've come to learn is you don't look as comfortable.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like especially if you're, you know, there's always that subconscious feeling of like trying to impress people, and like especially like you might put the photos on Tinder or whatever, and trying to like seem attractive, and in actuality confidence is the most attractive thing. And if you feel comfortable in your skin, and sorry it's a bit tilted, you know, feeling confident in your skin and comfortable and whatever actually makes you look so much better than, oh, look at me, I'm so big and muscly and I've been at the gym for 2 days and you know.
Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I mean, what I do more these days, like just under a year since I started this, is I sort of do this thing where like if I'm doing a pose in a photo or whatever, I sort of stand the way I'd walk.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, you don't walk around like that, do you? So why would you stand in a photo like with your chest all bulging?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
relax your shoulders.
You relax yourself.
Yeah.
Acts different. Don't try to be someone different when you're doing it.
Even if you're by yourself, like, or like with a photographer, whoever, just act like you're with your mates. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're out on a shoot with a photographer or if you're taking a photo with your mates at, like, maybe not a party because then you don't give a shit. But like, if you're out taking photos with your mates, like you're like trying to be all and like it's so obvious. So
it's not more visible in person as well if you actually try doing that as well.
Yeah. So like I said, what we're going to talk about is just some tips for posing that are gender specific. And the reason I say this is because you might want to just kind of get something different. I feel like I'm wording this really, really poorly. But anyway, so basically, when you're posing guys, or if you are a guy and you want to take photos, of yourself, what you want is
Not me.
more structured lines in your posing, and you want very straight lines. So if you lean up against there and then kind of pose how you normally would, you could lean down or you could. So what you're getting is very straight lines, and you're getting that cool vibe and that masculinity. Now if you go and do the same thing and try and copy him, we'll even give you the hat as well. And yeah, do the same thing where you're looking down and you get your hand and you're trying to be all cool. Just relax this shoulder. You see that it works well for him, but it doesn't work well for Albie because it's a bit more of a man pose. And although, but you know, in some situations this might work. But what you want is a bit more of a feminine S curve. So if we get one where you're like leaning and you pop your hip out and you put your hands on the top of your head, yeah, and then just lean back into the, yeah, but just pop the hip out more so that you're, yeah. So if you come around with the camera a bit, then you'll see it better. So what you're getting that's different, and I'll put the photos to compare, is you've got straight lines, curvy, and then you get a much more feminine look. As you would have seen, the photos will be up now. You'll see the difference between the posing. And then what we'll do as well, which is strictly run through some good go-to poses. So what's your favourite pose to do? Like, if I don't direct you at all, what's the thing that you tend to do? Because I noticed that you tend to go quite limp, lean, and put your hands in your pockets and stuff like that, or you could even like rub your face or something. Another good one is like rubbing your hands, like pretending like, yeah, I don't think you ever do that in real life, I don't think you will. But, you know, rubbing your hands, that's always a good one, or playing with your watch, playing with your cufflinks, that sort of thing. And then the go-to one I always go for movement is walking. So taking like a little step, looking over your shoulder, gives it a really good candid feel, which I know we spoke about before. As for girls and females, again, that limpness and that comfort, not like tensing up, is really good for both. But if I get you, if I get you to move other way, please, and if I get you over here, and so we can do, if you take one step forward, we can do like a squatty one, where Matt, can you move please? Thank you. Yeah, perfect. So you'll see those photos as well, and you know the way she's tilting her head, and you're getting those S curves, and you're getting the bends, are really good. But just play around. You know, when you, the more photos you take, and the more you look at them, you'll be like, oh, I like that, or oh, I really don't like that. I look awful. So by doing that, you can see that, because that is what you do. I take photos and then you're like, oh, no, I don't like that, and no, I don't like that, but I like that and I like that. So that's what you can do, you know? So yeah, I hope that helps. If you take photos and you use these tips, tag me on Instagram. They look like 16. Oh, you see it?
No, I saw that.
Yeah, tag me on Instagram, Kobe Skill Creative. You can just...
It's funny how my heart is wired. It doesn't make any sense.
Tell me you want to be a drag queen.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you
Shut
did.
up.
I think you'd make a good drag queen.
You really would, wouldn't
You'd have to shave the bum fluff, but
disable this shit here.
Yeah.
For